Elvis Burbank in Shia, Khatshi in the Shla, Kurchini, Bashashin, Sitna Jini Edash, 12 head Lini Edash Nalle, Nille Tahake Lante Nasha, Ehut Art and then Shla. Did we catch that?
Nope.
So we don't got no code breakers, right? so let me tell you guys this. Our language is very sacred because it was given to us by our deities, which makes it a very powerful weapon. I'm not sure if we know about the Navajo code talkers. There we go. So what I said was, good afternoon. My name is Elvis Burbank. I am Reverend Water Clan. I am born for the Bitter Water Clan. Mass I require, so okay. My grandfather's clans are the Blackstreet clan. My paternal grandfather's clans are where the water flows together people clan. I said I'm originally from Mini Farms, Arizona. And this is the way I do introduce myself as a five-fingered Diné, Navajo, who walks Mother Earth. So that's what I said within that short amount of time. So like I said, that language is very sacred. So let me start off by telling you a little bit about Mr. Hubbell. Mr. Hubbell, he was born in Pajarito, New Mexico, which was a small settlement just south of Albuquerque, now known as South Valley, in 1853. He worked at various trading posts, post offices, just until he acquired a horse and saddle. Once he acquired those, he left Albuquerque. He made his way into Colorado, he made his way into Utah, and immediately got into trouble in Panguitch, Utah. So the rumor goes, he was caught crawling out of the bedroom window of either the sheriff or the judge. So he was shot twice, escorted out of town. He literally fell into a Paiute camp with a bullet in his gut and leg. The Paiutes nursed him back to health. As soon as he was healthy enough, he got back on his horse. He made his way around the Grand Canyon. Eventually ended up over here in Fort Defiance. And there, he was employed for the U.S. Army as an interpreter. His first language was Spanish, second language English, third language Navajo, fourth language Hopi. He was multilingual. He was a very smart man. He was primarily self-taught. He was Arizona's very first state senator. He ran for U.S. Senate, failed, lost a lot of money. He was sheriff of Apache County. He owned 30-plus trading posts on and off the reservation. He owned a couple of saloons, a couple of billiard halls, a couple of warerooms, a couple of wholesale houses. He had a freight line running, a stage line running. He was running mail. South of St. John's, he owned cattle ranches. North of St. John's, sheep ranches, business properties in California, farm departments in, a home in Albuquerque, Gallup, St. John's, Winslow, but this is the place he called home. So he basically came here at the age of 23 and never left here because he's buried right across the way on Hubbell Hill with the family. So us Navajos, we did not have money, we did not care about money, but we have been trading and bartering for centuries, which is nothing new to us. So the way we counted our wealth was through sheep. So the more sheep we had, the wealthier we were. So we were sheep people. Still to this day, we are sheep people. I recently had a goat living inside my home. So with that being said, there was very little money being exchanged over those counters. It was always trading, 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 hence the trading post. If I was living back then, if I owned a good wagon, couple of horses, I could put one of these vegans down, bring it to Mr. Hubbell, get store credit. If I were to bring in 4 or 5 big boulder stones to Mr. Hubbell, I could get store credit. So there was ways to work with Mr. Hubbell. And yes, he did treat us fairly. He had to treat us fairly because back then we Navajos, we were a tribe not to be messed with, I should say. We're a nomadic, semi-warlike tribe, and all of these neighboring tribes who lived around us had nothing to do with us because we're warlike. The only people we surrendered to was the United States government. Mr. Hubbell's brother was killed in a robbery by 2 Navajos. One trader 10 miles east of here was found burning in his barn. So he had to treat us fairly, which made him the best Indian trader of the Southwest. I mean, take a look around, look at the Hubbell Ranch. The Hubbell family were doing very good for its time, being amongst us Navajos. So let's go ahead and work our way over to the post. And consider yourselves lucky because this is basically a hidden gem. we have locals who live in town do not know about this home. So with that being said, there's going to be no sitting, no leaning, no touching any of the items. Photography is allowed, but no flash. It knocks 10 years off the aging process. Too bad it doesn't work for us, right? So, with that being said, which stand means welcome. Come on in.
So they meant the rugs as you.
Oh, we get to go into the secret room. Oh, open up.
So, all of these Native Americans sat for Burbank while he sketched them. Here's Sitting Bull's portrait. Red Cloud's portrait.
Wow.
These portraits here are known as the redheads. If you were to Google E.A. Burbank's redheads, these portraits will pop up, including that Geronimo. So Burbank is one artist who did not receive much credit as other famous artists did. You know, like George Catlin? But from my point of view, he's more important. So Burbank came here in the fall of 1897. He became very good friends with Mr. Hubbell. So what Mr. Hubbell did was he sent Burbank out on this very big commission to go and capture 2 portraits of every single tribe in the United States, thinking that we were all going to eventually die out. But no, we're here, we're not going nowhere. It was a big commission he did not accomplish, but he did manage to capture 128 different tribes, which is amazing. I myself, being Native American, I've never seen 128 different tribes on their own land. So Burbank was traveling on a team of horses and a buckboard going from tribe to tribe to tribe to tribe to tribe to tribe. He covered tribes from the Southwest, Midwest, Northwest, tribes along the Pacific coast. So Burbank was prolific everywhere. Wow. Burbank was so taken with us Native Americans because we were drawn as we were. As opposed to an Anglo, they'll be like, hey, pay my missing tooth. Not us. So with that being said, if you look at their faces, it's full of sadness and sorrow. It's because we're being colonized. We're told to forget about our ancient